What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Fragrance Attorney. It is always a pleasure to be here talking about fragrance with you guys. If you can do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe and like button, we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. And once we get there, it unlocks a whole bunch of new features. I can do live streams with you guys and a whole bunch of other cool stuff. So if you don't mind, take a quick second, hit that subscribe and like button, and let's jump into today's video. Today we're talking about flankers that are better than the original. So they took a really good original fragrance, they made some tweaks and changes, they improved upon it, put it in a new bottle, and then they released something that was even better. The first one up that we have today is from the Spicebomb line. This is Spicebomb Nightvision Eau de Parfum. Now, for a lot of people, their favorite flanker of this is gonna actually be the extreme version, or some people are gonna prefer the infrared. For my personal taste, Nightvision EDP is really a special fragrance, and it's one of my go-tos for going out at night. I'm not typically a fan of fragrances that are all the way spicy, that don't really have other things in there as well, like some freshness or sweetness added in. So the Spicebomb Extreme and the original Spicebomb, they are really just mainly focused on those spices. And although there are still spices in here, this one comes across a lot more of a fresh and sweet variety with the green apple, a little bit of nuttiness that you're gonna get from the pistachio note that there is in there as well. And overall, it does still retain some of the spiciness that the Spicebomb line is known for, but it does substitute that with a more sweet, kind of a clubbing fragrance style approach with the green apple and the nuttiness of the pistachio coming in. Really a beautiful fragrance, really well done, really combines many different elements really well together. Great performance, great projection, good for clubbing and going out, and really alluring. It's going to capture some positive attention for people that like sweet fragrances. The next one up we have is from the house of Lacoste. This is Lacoste L1212 White or Blanc. And this is one of my favorite freshies, hands down. That's why I had to get this big bottle of it. It's got a nice white floral feel, and sometimes white florals can come across a little bit feminine, but it does not come across feminine in this one. This one is a masculine freshie through and through. It has a dryer sheet type of a smell to it, kind of like a fabric softener or dryer sheet type smell. And combined with a nice white floral, it's really unique as far as freshies go. Average performance, maybe slightly above average, but very versatile, great for everyday use. One that was a love at first sniff for me. The second I smelled it, I was like, wow, that is amazing. I want the biggest bottle of that possible. And I have been enjoying using it every day. There's a pretty healthy dent to it. It's about a quarter of the way through already with it. So definitely get some great use out of this one. That's L1212 White. Next one up we have is from the house of Yves Saint Laurent. This is Y, and this is Eau de Parfum. So some people are gonna prefer the Eau de Toilette concentration. It's a little bit fresher. It's got aldehydes in it, so it gives it this sort of sparkle to it. For me personally, the Eau de Parfum is still my favorite over the Le Parfum, over the new EDP Intense. There's just really something special about Y Eau de Parfum. It's a blue fragrance that has a good amount of sweetness in it as well, so it's not just very fresh like Sauvage, and it doesn't have the metallic edge of Sauvage. It's really more about the green apple, and the green apple really shines. Apple's my favorite fruit, so I love apple forward fragrances that use apple as the main sweet note. It is a little bit on the more synthetic side, but that synthetic edge is gonna help it perform so much better than a lot of other fragrances. This is one of my strongest, most projecting performing fragrances that I have. And it works in every season, every situation. I would caution you against wearing it in the super hot summer days because it may come off a little bit cloying because it is so strong. But I even wear this to bed sometimes because I love the way it smells so much, and it's just a great dumb reach. You can grab it and go. You don't really have to think, and it's gonna work for any situation that you're in. That's why Eau de Parfum, one of my absolute favorites. The next one is also a blue fragrance, this time though from the house of Prada. This is Prada Luna Rossa Ocean. This is the Eau de Toilette, and I prefer the Eau de Toilette to the new Eau de Parfum. For me, the Eau de Parfum, I'm not a huge fan of that caramel note that they added in there. It kind of makes it a more of a gourmand, sweet fragrance. And this is supposed to be a blue fragrance that is fresh and very versatile, and that kind of takes it and makes it into a winter fragrance. So wasn't really loving that one, but the Eau de Toilette is still one of my favorite blue fragrances, and definitely my favorite blue fragrance from Prada. Beautiful iris note in here as well. It has a little bit of a sweetness to it, but not overly sweet, and does take that Prada soapiness that all the Prada fragrances are really known for. It has that soapiness to it, and the backbone of it. The original Luna Rossa is also a great fragrance, a little bit outdated in my opinion at this point. There's a lot of really great flankers in this line, so this doesn't even necessarily have to be the best flanker. Luna Rossa Black is really good. Carbon is a nice take on Sauvage. Even Luna Rossa Sport is really, really good. So I would really take any of the flankers at this point over the original, but for this video, Luna Rossa Ocean. Next one up we have is from the house of John Varvatos. This is John Varvatos Artisan Pure. Could have also went with Artisan Blue. They kind of compete as far as which one I like more. Lately, because of it's summer and it's getting hotter, I'm leaning toward Artisan Pure. It's got a bit more of a tropical type of a feel to it. It still maintains the woods that are present in all the Artisan fragrances, so I really like that they don't just go and completely change the DNA. They still keep parts of it. Pure is more ozonic, tropical, easygoing, fresh, uplifting type of a thing going on. Maybe, I don't know if it's coconut or maybe like a pineapple, some sort of tropical fruit in the top, and a nice woody backbone. Great quality here, as with all the John Varvatos for the price that you pay. The only downside with this one is the performance on my skin is subpar. I don't get great performance out of this one, only about 2 hours, but I've heard other people that they get better performance out of this, so this is one that may actually work a lot better for you. This may just be a skin chemistry thing for me personally, but it's still a great smelling fragrance. Next one up we have is Vince Camuto Homme Intenso. Vince Camuto Homme Intenso. I was a big fan of the original, so when I saw this one, I hadn't really heard anybody talking about it, so I figured why not just blind buy it. I like the original, and if this is a more intense version than that, then great. And that's actually exactly what this ended up being. Sometimes intense flankers come out and they're not actually a more intense version of the original flanker. They're just either something completely different or they're not all that intense after all. This is a case where this one is more intense than the original Homme, and it has better projection, better performance. I'm actually wearing it today. I sprayed it on about 4 or 5 hours ago, and I can still smell it going really strong. Do not overspray this one, guys. This one is, I would say, borderline beast mode as far as performance goes. A little bit more refined than the original. If you don't know what it smells like, it's got this gin and tonic sort of smell to it. A very freshy gin and tonic type of smell. So not overly boozy or anything like that. You're not going to smell like you just had a beverage before coming to work. It doesn't come across that way at all. It's very professional actually smelling. I always say that this is a great fragrance for a salesman or someone that's going to be wearing a suit like a banker and it's going to be interacting with people. Very professional, freshy, that has great performance. Vince Camuto Homme Intenso, an improvement over the original Homme. Next one up we have is Montblanc Legend. This is the Eau de Parfum. Now the Eau de Toilette is great, don't get me wrong. I wore the Eau de Toilette for years. That was my signature scent at one point. It smells very similar to Abercrombie & Fitch Fierce. This one just takes it, refines it, and upgrades it. Gives it a little bit more depth, a little bit more richness, a little bit more nuance to it. Slightly more woody, maybe a little bit darker, but I wouldn't call this a dark fragrance at all. Just an overall great night out, everyday signature scent fragrance. Really works in both situations. Incredibly appealing. It's a sexy smell. You could wear this on a date. Yeah, it's just got such character and richness to it. It smells pretty similar to Parfums de Marly Percival, which is a niche fragrance that's going to cost way more. You get about 80% of the way there with Montblanc Legend Eau de Parfum for a lot less money. And I really love that DNA, and I own both. And I'm going to tell you, it's not redundant to own both because I don't always feel like using Percival because it's just so beast mode and it is more expensive. And sometimes I just want a more designer friendly version of that just for everyday use, and I go with Legend Eau de Parfum, and I've gotten a lot of use out of it and I really enjoy it. Probably will too if you like that fierce DNA with the oak moss. Next one up we have is Terre de Hermes Eau Intense Vetiver, my personal favorite of the line. Not a huge fan of the other ones in the line. Sorry guys, I know there's a lot of fans of Terre de Hermes out there, and for them, this is kind of blasphemy. If you're a big fan of Terre de Hermes, this is probably gonna be your least favorite one. This is kind of like the Nightvision Eau de Parfum for the Spicebomb. It's like the flanker for the people that don't like this fragrance, right? So Eau Intense Vetiver is the Terre de Hermes for people that don't like Terre de Hermes necessarily. That bitter orange earthiness, yeah, it's a little challenging for me. Maybe my nose will mature in a couple years and I'll grow to appreciate it, but for right now, I'm going with the Eau Intense Vetiver. It removes that bitter orange out of the original and it replaces it with a just a less challenging citrus that really works. And this smells very upscale. The ingredients in here smell incredible and very, very highly rated. If you're gonna go to a suit and tie event or something upscale where you wanna feel classy, luxurious, or maybe you just want that feeling every day, Terre de Hermes Intenso Vetiver is a great choice to go with. And the next one, we have two more. Next one up is gonna be Jimmy Choo Urban Hero Gold. So the original Urban Hero, it's really whatever. It's nothing really special. But this guy is solid. Really nice pineapple fragrance. Beautiful pineapple note in the opening. And then it kind of dries down to kind of like an ambroxan, more lavender forward base. So not overly complex, but the pineapple from the opening is really the highlight of this fragrance. It's got great performance. That's another thing it's got really going for it. And I really do enjoy this bottle style. I think they did a really great job here. This liquid is also slightly gold tinged. I don't know if you can see that with the current lighting, but it looks really nice in your collection. And solid cap, good atomizer, all that. But overall, great performance. And it's a really nice pineapple fragrance that has enough staying power and ends up turning into this really appealing lavender scent afterwards. All right, last one up on this list, and this one is a hidden gem, guys. No one talks about this. No one shows this one any love, and it's very underrated. This is Eternity for Men Flame. Now, there are a lot of flankers in this line, and there are probably some that are overall better fragrances than this one, but this one just gets no love, and I really personally enjoy it, so I wanted to feature it here. So the thing with this one is it is so strong. Like, the performance is incredible, at least for me. I'm talking 8 hours plus. This is a beast for me. And it just does not stop. Like, I wore it yesterday and I'm talking 6 hours later, it was still very prominently coming off my skin after only using maybe 2 to 4 sprays max. So there's something to be said about the performance. As far as the smell goes, Flame may not be the best name to describe the way that this one smells because it's not super of a red fragrance. It's more of like an Eros mixed with Eternity. So the original Eternity is a great citrus fragrance, a little bit outdated at this point, but it combines the fresh aquatic nature of, I'm not even sure if it's so much aquatic, just more citrus fresh of that with basically Eros, and that's what you get here. Amber is the prominent thing that you're gonna smell. It's not a very complex fragrance, and there's not many different notes that you can pick out or anything like that. It's just really, it's kind of like an amber bomb, but just the thing about it is the performance on this one is so good. And it is a really pleasant smelling, modern smelling type of a fragrance. So not super expensive either. So it's got a lot of positives going for it. And I really enjoy the way this one smells, kind of maybe like a little bit of a root beer smell to it too. A more aquatic Eros. If you remove the tonka bean of Eros and you added some citrus in there, I think this is kind of what you would get with Eternity Flame. That's it for today, guys. Let me know what is one of your favorite flankers of a line that is better than the original. Love to hear about it. Thanks for spending some time at the Fragrance Fraternity. I'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys.